Hello YouTube vintage stereo collectors. Here's an FM tuner you don't see every day. It's from the late 60s, Armaco T508. And I've seen a very similar tuner to this made by Marsland Engineering in Waterloo, Ontario. In fact, many of the components in this have the M logo inside, but it does say made in Japan on the back. Now Armaco was a West Coast distributor of Canadian products, and there used to be a store here in town that carried Armaco. They had a whole lot of somewhat like Allied radio in the States, and they had components and a few different things that you just couldn't find where, like antennas. You want an antenna for your 69 Chrysler, they would have one. Armaco would have one that would fit, and nobody else did. And let's talk about the tuner. Like I say, it has some Canadian components in it, mainly the actual tuner here, and I wouldn't call it a module. It's just a variable capacitor tuner, and it's a 3-gain tuner with a 4th that's driven by a gear. So this is AM, this is FM. I took it apart, did some resoldering inside. In fact, every electrolytic capacitor has been replaced. They're all very vintage ones, late 60s. There are a couple of oil capacitors over here. All that's been replaced, and it did work. Didn't sound that great. The alignment was way out of whack on it. There, you won't find a schematic for this. You won't find any kind of alignment instructions, so I had to go carefully stage by stage, and I figured out that this was the AM/IF strip here, FM/IF strip over here, the demodulator, the discriminator, over here a multiplex board, little power supply board here with the 2 transistor preamp coming off of the IF strip. So it's pretty obvious to follow this one along on the inside of it. You can trace wires out to show what's like underneath. Kind of typical construction of its era. And it's interesting, there's an M on this board. Right there. That's Marsland Engineering out of Waterloo. And if you look at it, there's some point-to-point, and there's several circuit boards. So you've got, right here is a strip, terminal strip. You got a terminal strip over here, but then you've got a little power supply board here. It was kind of almost mix and match of components. And interesting on the back, these type of connectors here, I've seen those on a lot of Kenwood and Lafayette products. And the way the case is made almost looks like Lafayette. But it works fairly nicely. I'm surprised how well it works. 2 number 47 dial lamp bulbs in the base. This is actually, the stereo indicator, believe it or not, is a neon bulb. And there's actually a voltage doubler circuit to bring enough voltage to light it up when the stereo demodulator is working. That's kind of a neat effect. Seems to get a lot of stations off just, a simple dipole. AFC, a local DX switch, was just kind of useless. AM, FM stereo. And I have the cover downstairs. I sanded and painted it. It was a little rough, kind of oxidized, so that should look pretty nice. And I'll try it on my main system, see what it sounds like. Anyway, through headphones it sounds great. Very touchy, the alignment. If you get for instance, the 19 kilohertz just off a little bit, it will drift out and the stereo will shut down after a few minutes. So you got to kind of figure out where to have it so that it starts up when you turn the tuner on cold and stays running without going out of phase with the pilot signal. So there's a little touch there. And actually, the only test equipment I've used are my ears, because I've got nothing. I have no waveforms, anything to check this against. Just simple alignment tools and what it sounds like. And sometimes that's what you have to do on these old ones. Anyway, thanks for watching and listening.